What is going on, you guys? Today we are taking the 2024 Lotus Emira out for a drive. We got the owner with us to share some of his thoughts on actually owning this thing. I guess first and foremost, this is around like a $100,000 car. Obviously in that price range you have the Porsche Cayman GT4, you could get a Shelby GT500. Why the Emira?
My options were limited, mid-engine manual, fast, good handling, something that would, is a true driver's car. I had driven in a lease when they first hit the US many years ago. Didn't have the ability to live with that as my only car, so didn't buy one then, but have always had a thing for Lotus cars. It's it's the closest thing I can get to a four-wheeled motorcycle, and I've been racing bikes for a long time.
Got it. You said the reason why you chose this over a GT4 is because of just how absolutely beautiful it is?
Yeah, that was a big part, for sure. And it's different. You don't see them everywhere.
Yeah, no. Guys, when I met him, this was the first Lotus Emira I have seen out on the road. I see Caymans everywhere, but never these. And tough debate, GT4 or Emira, but wait till we get this thing on the road, and undeniably, when you see this, it's hard to even tell what it is at first. When I was looking at this, I actually had the front end blocked off, and to me it almost looked a little bit like an MC20. It's got some, looks like elements from a McLaren as well. Oh, this blue, what is this paint actually called, do you know?
Seneca Blue.
Seneca Blue, okay, oh my, if I get one of these, I think this would be the color. The yellow calipers. Let's pop the hood real quick and talk about what's under there. So under the, well, not the hood, but the trunk, if you will, is a supercharged V6. And this thing makes around 400 horsepower, and the torque is gonna be in the low threes. Now, I know, that may not sound that impressive when you have an option like a C7 Corvette Z06 or a Shelby GT500 pushing 6, 7, close to 800 horsepower. So why would you get this? Well, it's not just about straight line speed, and sure, the GT500 and the C7 Z06 are great in the corners, but this thing weighs under 3,200 pounds. Paired with the engine being in the middle, this thing, again, it really reminds you that it's not just about going in a straight line. This thing is so much fun to throw around in the corners. You can hear the supercharger out of this thing, and if I'm not mistaken, they have a 4-cylinder option in these as well, right? Any reason why you chose the V6 over the 4-cylinder? Might be obvious, but
the V6 sounds better and is the only way to get a manual transmission.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, the 4-cylinders have the 8-speed dual clutch.
That's correct.
And this you can either get manual or automatic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 6-speed manual or 6-speed auto.
And of course, you chose the manual.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, and by the way, guys, the 0 to 60 on this thing is right around 4.3 to 4.5 seconds, which, 400 horsepower, that's a good number, thanks to this being as light as it is. By the way, this whole thing is pretty much stock?
Yeah, the only thing not stock's a third cat delete and a radar detector.
Okay, all right. All right, guys, without further ado, let's take this thing for a drive and see how this feels. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and start this thing up. First things first, very interesting. It's very similar to the Lamborghini Huracan, how you have this fighter jet style switch like this. For those of you that know, that is my Shelby GT350. So the owner of this is actually going to be driving behind us in my GT350. These are two very different cars, by the way. We'll talk more about that once we get moving. All right, you guys, behind the wheel of the 2024 Lotus Emira. Now, first things first, when I was looking into this car, and again, I have not looked into Lotuses previously to having the opportunity to actually driving one. When I heard it has the same V6 that's in the Toyota Camry, I thought, seriously, $100,000 for this car? Well, it is so much more special than it just looks. I mean, yes, the looks are very exotic. These cars are sold at Lamborghini dealers. But when you actually do start to drive this thing, I've already driven it for about 30 minutes today. Well, let's go ahead and use the drive mode selector here to switch it over into sport. That's gonna open up the exhaust valves, adjustable powertrain, exhaust, and traction as well. This car is all about having fun in the corners. Let's get it going. Oh, the sound of that engine just right behind you. It sounds way more present than the C8 Corvette did. my gosh. You really hear that supercharger when you start accelerating as well. Now, I do want to mention a couple of quick complaints with this car. If you do some Google searches, you'll find this out pretty quick, and when you're behind the wheel of it, you really notice it. First things first, the brake pedal is very, very sensitive and touchy. The clutch is very, very close to the rest of the two pedals, so you're kind of smushed, and it is a very, very, very firm clutch. My GT350, on the other hand, is not, which it's traveling right behind us. The owner's following us here. This thing, see, when you drive a GT500 or you drive a C7 Z06 and you can pick one of those up for cheaper than you can a Lotus Emira, for the people who only focus on straight line speed stuff, I mean, they don't understand why anyone would ever look at getting one of these cars. But the point of it is to have an ultra reliable, super fun, arguably one of the most refined go-kart type of cars you can buy. Under 3,200 pounds for the weight. And you heard it at the start. Why get this over a GT4? Well, you never ever see these on the road, ever. It was my first time coming across one of these on the road. It sounds a lot more impressive than you might think when you hear, oh, I'm buying a $100,000 V6. Well, you're gonna get more looks than almost any other car in this price range because you never see these. It sounds like there's around 2,000 of these in the United States right now. When you think about it, well, that is very, very rare. Never seen one on the road, only seen one at car shows or at a dealership. And that just speaks to, you're driving something that is just it's an enthusiast car that you really have to have an acquired taste for. All right, got a nice little turn right here. And that's where you really realize this thing is seriously a go-kart. Now, another semi-complaint here is this shifter it's kind of a little bit clunky. You would have expected something more refined in this, again, given its price range and it being a supercharged V6. It feels nice. This clutch and this shifter definitely just takes some getting used to. But, after about 20 minutes of driving this thing, it's no problem for me. If you drive manuals often and then you step in this thing, you might be really confused as to what's going on with how all this stuff feels. Trust me, you will get that reaction when you first press on the clutch. It's like touching the brake pedal almost, and you go to shift and it's just a little bit on the clunky side. Now, I do want to talk about the interior for a second. So, I was pretty shocked to see how, honestly, basic it is. There's not ambient lighting. There's not a bunch of different adjustable stuff. There's not really a lot in the infotainment screen at all. It's a very simple car, but it is solely focused for actually racing and cornering. I mean, you can see in the little climate control thing, the guy sitting there has a helmet on. You have a G-force meter, you have a live reading of your power, your horsepower and your torque. And this nice gauge cluster setup, it's simple. That is really what you want when you're behind the wheel of a car that is going to be used for simply just having fun. And that's what this thing gives you. No crazy amounts of electronics or different settings. It's simple, but the way it was built is to the point where I don't really feel like I need to adjust a whole lot of stuff. It's got the active exhaust valve, so if I want to cruise in silence and just listen to music, that's an option. And of course it has Apple CarPlay. It's got, again, the basics, the necessities. And for a 3,200 pound car with a supercharged V6 and a manual transmission and looks that you never see on any other car, I can understand why this thing is priced where it's at. So why get this over all the other options in the $80,000 to $100,000 price range? I mean, guys, we're talking Hellcats, GT500s, C7 Z06, C6 ZR1, a Porsche 911 Carrera, even a 997 911 Turbo. There are so many cars you could get at the $100,000 price range, but for $100,000, if you choose this, you get a brand new car with looks that you never see anywhere else on the road. You get that manual transmission, you get hydraulic steering, which most cars today are starting to go to electric steering, and you just feel so connected in this car. Again, I think the best way to describe this is just, it is a super, super refined go-kart, a beautiful go-kart, a fast go-kart. You do not really want more power than this if you're using this car for the reason it was made, which is to really experience what cars are for, and that is cornering, not always just how fast can you go in a straight line. As always, guys, I appreciate you all so much for watching. If you own one of these, please comment your thoughts down below. And if you have any questions, let me know. I have the owner's number. I'll be happy to text him, and I'm sure he'll give his input on the questions that you have as well. What an incredible car. Man, I never thought I'd be able to drive a Lotus, and I didn't know what to expect, but just know it is the ultimate track car, the ultimate cornering car. And again, please get a manual transmission if you do get one. And by the way, yeah, very simple interior. It's just the basics, and it's raw. It's the raw basics, and that's what you want if you're just gonna start the thing up, hop on some back roads, and go ham. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.